It looks like Ed Boon just confirmed a rumor that was teased many months ago. And then on top of that, we now know when this new game is going to be teased and then finally revealed later this year. But before going any further, I have a secret of my own. Can I share a personal secret with you all? I've always had a sneaking fear of going bald, and it's because my dad looked like this before he was 30. But thankfully, Keeps has you covered. The reality is 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of hair loss before they're 35. But thankfully, Keeps offers clinically proven, research-backed treatments to help stop hair loss, and even improve hair growth as well. And to make things even better, Keeps gives you quality, expert care without ever having to visit a doctor's office. And all of their treatment plans are doctor-recommended and delivered straight to your door, at about half the cost of a traditional pharmacy. And then on top of that, Keeps also offers 24/7 support. Keeps has a network of expert medical advisors, prescribers, and care specialists to support you in making your hair goals a reality. And every treatment plan comes with a full year of unlimited messaging, so you can connect with your prescribing doctor about anything, anytime. If you want to stop hair loss, then Keeps is the best answer. To get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/trueunderdoggaming or click my link below in the video description. Once again, that's keeps.com/trueunderdoggaming. Don't live in constant fear of hair loss like I used to. Try Keeps today. For anyone not caught up, it all began when a certain streamer teased what might be next for NetherRealm Studios, because someone in the chat asked him, hey, have you heard any news about Injustice 3? And he said, no, nothing like that. In fact, it seems like Mortal Kombat is their next game. And that blew everybody's mind, because it's always been Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice, but now we're gonna have another Mortal Kombat game right after Mortal Kombat 11. However, at this point, it was just a rumor, and fans were still pretty skeptical about what the next NetherRealm title would be. So it wasn't until a few months later when things really got crazy, because a NetherRealm employee accidentally posted this infamous image. And when you zoomed in at the very corner of this image, you saw leaks for Mortal Kombat 12. That's right, an employee accidentally leaked Mortal Kombat 12, or did they? As it turns out, when you dig a bit deeper, this leak seems very intentional. The NetherRealm employee did it on purpose just to get people excited for the next NetherRealm project. However, even if this leak was fake, it did say Mortal Kombat 12, and it also teased Reptile, both of which had players super excited. Everyone loves Reptile, and it's a darn shame that he was never playable in Mortal Kombat 11. Instead, you kill him in the crypt for currency if you're a monster. I never killed him personally, but I know a lot of people did, and I'm watching you. Now, some people think this leak actually deconfirms Mortal Kombat 12 because NetherRealm doesn't want you to know what they're actually working on. They're tricking you into thinking it's Mortal Kombat 12, but actually it's something different. Maybe Injustice 3, maybe Shaolin Monks 2, any number of things. In fact, they could even be working on a remaster of the original Mortal Kombat trilogy, which would be incredible. The first game actually came out before I was born, and I was never very good at the classic games. Those inputs are hard, but I still appreciate those games for laying the foundation for future titles in the Mortal Kombat series. Every game that would come later on started with Mortal Kombat 1 and the original trilogy. But there you go, now everybody watching is caught up on the rumors for Mortal Kombat 12, and recently things got even spicier because during an interview, Ed Boon said this when asked about the next NetherRealm project. I can say that for 10 years, we kept releasing Mortal Kombat and Injustice, Mortal Kombat and Injustice. When we broke that pattern, there was a lot of speculation about what we would be doing next. I can tell you there was a reason for it, and when we announce our next game, it'll make a lot more sense, but at this point, I'll get in a lot of trouble if I say anything more. Alright, so there are so many things to break down in this response. Number one, the pattern has been broken. That likely means the next game is not going to be Injustice 3, and Ed Boon confirms that. So once again, the idea that Mortal Kombat 12 is the next game is starting to make a lot more sense. This rumor now has legs. However, it doesn't have to be Mortal Kombat 12. It could be anything besides Injustice. So for example, we could finally get Shaolin Monks 2, because keep in mind, Ed Boon has said he wants to try things besides fighting games, so this next project could be something entirely new. And Shaolin Monks would be perfect if Ed Boon wants to pursue a game of that nature. Or who knows, this could be an entirely new IP, something besides Injustice or Mortal Kombat. However, I don't think that's very likely, and let me tell you why. This year in October actually marks the 30th anniversary for Mortal Kombat. That's right, 30 years ago Mortal Kombat 1 was released. The game is older than me, and Ed Boon has been posting constantly on Twitter about this anniversary, constantly showing new stuff about the process of Mortal Kombat and all that juicy behind the scenes stuff. And as a result, I really do think that a Mortal Kombat game is going to be next, but it's not necessarily going to be Mortal Kombat 12. Once again, it could be a remaster of the classic trilogy. That certainly is a possibility, but I don't think it's super likely, only because Warner Brothers are the ones that call the shots, and I don't think they believe that game would make very much money. And for the 30th anniversary, you want to go big. You want to make something that everybody's gonna buy, not just the hardcore fans. You want to get that casual audience too. And as a result, I still think Mortal Kombat 12 is the most likely. But can I share one thing with you all? I would honestly love a remaster of Deadly Alliance and Deception. I love the 3D era of Mortal Kombat, and Armageddon was cool too, but just too many characters to balance. I love the idea of Mortal Kombat returning to 3D combat, similar to Tekken or Dead or Alive. I love the sidestepping, I love the strings and all the different combos. It was really cool to me. And I know Deadly Alliance and Deception were kinda goofy, but imagine if NetherRealm really dug deep and went all out this time and tried to make a Tekken-style Mortal Kombat game. How sick would that be? I just think it would be hype. I actually prefer 3D fighters over 2D fighting games. I know that's shocking given the content that I post on my channel, but it is actually true. I prefer 3D fighters for the most part. I still love all fighting games, but man, Tekken, Dead or Alive, they're my favorite. And I also love Soul Calibur. It's a menage a trois of fighting games. But I digress. The point is, I do think Mortal Kombat 12 is the most likely game that NetherRealm is working on, but I'm also open to the possibility of a different fighting game entirely. Whether it be Shaolin Monks 2, the original trilogy remastered, or even a return to the 3D Midway games. Let me know in the comments below which game you would prefer the most, and guess what? I'm pretty sure I know when this game is going to be announced, regardless of what it is. Because this year at EVO, we actually have Mortal Kombat 11 again, and this time it's a featured fighting game. And I just gotta say, it's about time. Despite being the biggest fighting game on the planet, Mortal Kombat is done dirty at every single EVO, and I have no idea why. I think it's just bias. For anyone not aware, pretty much every NetherRealm game was never given a chance to shine at EVO. It was always shown really early for the finals. And as a result, most viewers weren't even up, and it gave them really low numbers, and people would look at that and go, oh, the game's not popular. BS, the game's not popular. Look at the sales. Mortal Kombat 11 is the best-selling fighting game in history. Don't tell me it's not popular. And it looks like EVO is finally recognizing that, and I bet it's because they're now owned by a different person. Sony actually bought EVO recently. And you know Sony is out there to get money. They're not going to be biased. They're going to do whatever sells, and they know Mortal Kombat is popular. And as a result, we have Mortal Kombat at EVO once again, which is rare. Usually NetherRealm games are only there for 1 or 2 years, never 3. And I'm willing to bet that NetherRealm is going to tease something about their next big game after the finals for Mortal Kombat 11. And I'm not saying we'll get a full trailer, but I do think we're at least going to get a teaser or an announcement or a logo, something of that nature. And then finally, during October, on the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat, we're going to get the reveal. We're gonna get a full trailer. And I sincerely hope they have a closed gathering like they did for Mortal Kombat 11, because that was so hype and exciting. However, regardless of how NetherRealm chooses to reveal their next title, I do think it's going to be shown this year, either at EVO or during October on the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. And before we end this video, there is one more possibility I wanted to talk about, and Caboose actually brought it up on his channel. Even though it's very unlikely that we're getting an Injustice 3, what if NetherRealm combined DC with Mortal Kombat? That's right, what if we get Mortal Kombat versus DC number 2? I can already hear people screaming in the comments, but hear me out, okay? That game is not as bad as everyone pretends it was. Yes, it didn't have fatalities, but everything else was there. If you watch high-level gameplay, that game was competitive, it had depth, and it was fun, man. Fun to watch, especially. Yes, it did have some goofy mechanics here and there, but overall, the combat was there, it had in-depth mechanics, and some high-level gameplay as well. The game was competitive. And real quick, can I just gush about the costume design? I think MK vs. DC has some of the best costumes, especially for the Mortal Kombat characters. Just check out Sub-Zero, my boy looking fresh, and Raiden too. So many characters look great in this game, especially the Mortal Kombat characters. I really do like the costume design. So if we did get Mortal Kombat vs. DC number 2, imagine how nice the costumes would look with NetherRealm's new costume designers. I know I tease the costumes every now and then, especially on Twitter, but I do think they make some really detailed costumes, and I can only imagine how good they would look with the DC style. For example, I'm a really big Mileena fan. I want to see what Mileena looks like with the DC costumes. MK vs. DC Mileena, give it to me, take my money now. Once again, we're very likely not getting an Injustice 3, but MK vs. DC is more possible. I don't think it's more likely than Mortal Kombat 12, nor do I think it's more likely than a remaster of the original 3 games, or even a return to the 3D style fighting games in the Midway era, but I still think MK vs. DC 2 is possible, and I would be all for it. I understand that's a very unpopular opinion to have, but here we are. I love superheroes, I love Mortal Kombat, I want to combine the two and see if it works this time around. There are so many things out there that never get a second chance, and I think MK vs. DC is one of those games that deserves a second chance. And if NetherRealm does announce that as their next game, let me know down below what Mortal Kombat characters or DC characters do you want to see the most. I want to see Beast Boy, I want to see Raven, I want to see him fight Mileena, and I also want to see Takeda and Kung Jin come back too. How sick would that be? The characters we wanted the most in Mortal Kombat 11 are now fighting DC characters. How sick would that be? Just imagine Cyborg versus Sector and Cyrax and Smoke. How sick would that be? You can't tell me that wouldn't be hype. I know I'm getting way too excited because the possibility of this game getting a sequel possible is very unlikely, but I'm just saying it would be pretty cool if it happened. And hopefully now a few more of you watching are excited about it as well. Once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.